What holds you back? What invisible walls have you built in your mind? Is it fear, doubt, the self belief that you are not enough? See, we all have limits. Most of these limits are self imposed, which means we convince ourselves that we are not enough even before we try. I was exactly like this till I meet a person who inspired me to believe the opposite through his own story, through his own story about his own life. I was blessed and lucky enough to meet this person years back when I was struggling to believe in myself that I am enough, that I am capable of achieving my goals and dreams. So, who is this person who made me to believe that I am enough, that I can achieve any of my goal, any of my dreams with no boundaries, with no limits? Before I talk about this person, I'd like to take you through a journey. I'd like to join you with me to hike or climb a mountain, but not a tiny mountain. What type of experiences you are having by climbing mountains and reaching to the summit of the mountain and see that stunning view towards the world? That is amazing. If you have experienced the view from a top of a taller mountain, I think you are feeling what I am telling. But climbing a very tall mountain is not that easy at all. It requires many things within you. So, the mountain I'm going to climb with you today is not a tiny little mountain. It is one of the tallest mountains in Africa called Mount Kilimanjaro. It is located in Tanzania and it is a volcano mountain. What is the specialty with this mountain? At the beginning, you are going through a very dry zone. In the middle, you are going through different harsh environments. And when it comes to the peak or to the summit, you are experiencing the snow. But what if I ask from you, how about someone who is not having both hands and legs, thinking about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro? Isn't it sound crazy or mad? Yes, I agree with you. It's totally stupid. I know some of you are feeling like that. If you don't have legs and hands, why do you need to do this type of crazy things? Why you can't stay back at home and take support from some other people and live peacefully? Maybe reading something or watching something. The person I met actually believed that he is capable of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Unfortunately, he didn't have both hands and legs. So, the journey from the bottom of the mountain to the peak was 10 times harder for this person compared to any average human being. Yet, this person made it happen. The story behind this person's life and this journey actually made me really inspired to a level. After I listened to this person, I lost all the reasonings, excuses that I had about my limitations, which I believed which I having within me. So let me connect you with this amazing human being who inspired millions of people all around the world today.
When I first started climbing, I was so bad. I was so terrible, so slow. I'd tear my skin up all the time. And I was like, how the heck are we gonna go and do Mount Kilimanjaro? 3 words, I don't know. Those 3 words, 3 of the most important words in my life. All discoveries happen from I don't know. My name is Kyle Maynard, and I have an extremely hard time saying what it is exactly that I do. I've been an athlete my entire life. Football to wrestling to weightlifting and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and now most recently taking on climbing some of the highest mountains in the world. I was born with congenital amputation, so it basically means my arms end at the elbows, my legs end at the knees. You know, I think some people, they look at me and maybe even feel sorry for me, but really, truthfully, my life doesn't look a whole lot different than yours. You know, I type on my computer the same way. You know, I use my phone just like anybody else. I'm on Bumble like any other single person my age. We got a match. My first experience with climbing, really anything of significance, was in a CrossFit competition in 2010. The first workout was you had to do a 1,000-meter row in this rowing machine in a sprint up Stone Mountain. Everybody else did it in maybe 25 minutes. It took me an hour and 46 minutes. I tore all the skin up on my arms, but I got to the top and I was like, wow, this is breathtakingly beautiful. And I told my friend that night, I said, I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can't, but I do know that I want to try to figure it out. I want to go and find a way and get up there. There were a ton of challenges with getting into climbing, and the biggest one was the gear. I literally started with bath towels duct taped to my arms and my feet. I couldn't go to the store and buy a typical pair of shoes, so we had to come up with a unique solution. Now to climb, I use a carbon fiber special custom shoe. I use those to bear crawl up Kilimanjaro. Then me and my team, we took on climbing Mount Aconcagua, the highest peak in South America. I felt my body was like in full shutdown mode. And it was brutal at moments, but it was breathtakingly beautiful. At the top of that mountain, you know, you can almost kind of make out and see like the curvature of the earth. I mean, it was just a moment I'll never forget. The reasons I climb aren't that different from other people. 95% of it does suck. I'm staring at the dirt. I'm not even able to go and talk to my friends and see the beautiful views unless I stop and sit down and look. But that 5% that doesn't suck, it's amazing. Get into a place that there's no way my wheelchair could have brought me there. That's what I love. I'm not trying to live to be 1,000. Like I want to go out there and have my life mean something. When I've gotten down and I've looked at the mountain and I see what we've achieved, it's like, wow, maybe that was a really bad idea that we were there, but it was beautiful.
When I was younger, my dad told me he believes the purpose of parenting was to make me and my sisters a little bit better version of him. And I think about the time when I was born. There was a lot of fear and doubt and frustration. I was born without my arms and legs. And I don't have any kids of my own, but I do have some pretty amazing parents that had an attitude that they weren't going to allow that to go and control and dictate and affect my life in any major negative way. Doctors told them a lot of things. I might be dependent on their help living at home the rest of my life, maybe dependent on prosthetics or other devices, that it would be very expensive. They really didn't have an education. They didn't have a whole lot of money. There was, I'm sure, a lot of hard times early on. But they made that decision early on that they weren't going to just to allow me to live a different life, that they're going to go and treat me as normal. I have a baby niece now. She's 8 months old. and her name's Kinley. I see Kinley reaching out to go and try to grab the spoon when she's being fed. When I'm watching her do that, I thought about the first couple times that I would go and reach out to try to go and grab the spoon, and how hard that must have been for them to see me fail a whole lot. Learning how to pick up a spoon, holding it just between the ends of my elbows, like the way that I hold a spoon now. I'm sure it must have been hard. It was their natural instinct to want to come in and try to help me out at first, but I had to go through those failures to learn how to do it. And some things came natural, some things didn't. But now in my life, I really don't have that many adaptations for things because of what they taught me early on. Learned how to eat with normal spoon and fork, just holding the silverware between the ends of my arms and swinging it around to go and scoop the food up. Learned how to shave kind of the same way, holding the shaver with the ends of my arms, writing with a normal pen, pencil, holding it between the ends of my arms. Type about 50 words a minute on a normal keyboard. Now live in a 3-story townhouse on my own. My bedroom's on the top floor. I've got a stool to go and get up to the bathroom sink. In my vehicle that I drive, I've got a Dodge Durango. It has lifted up pedals, extensions in the pedals. I use my left foot for the brake, my right foot for the gas. It's a normal steering wheel. Put the seat up a little bit closer to the wheel. And it's become my favorite hobby to thoroughly freak people out in the Starbucks drive-thru. Passing my credit card real quick to go and pay for the coffee and see people like kind of freak out. Like, whoa! Throw coffee all over the place. But to me, they encouraged me to not focus on the disability. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in looking at the wrong things. And as adults, for me with my niece, maybe for you and your kids or your grandkids, I mean, they will watch you to see what you're focusing on. And I think if they'd helped me with everything, I wouldn't have been able to learn how to do things on my own. I had to go through and learn how to fail a lot at first. The very first time I got myself dressed, I was 16 years old. It was my summer going into summer break going into my junior year of high school. I was sitting at home in my sweatpants, and my best friend Joey calls me up and he says that him and his mom wanted to come and pick me up and take me out to a movie in like an hour. Sitting at home alone, and my mom was 5 minutes away at a local park watching my sisters play in a softball tournament. And I told her, I said, there is absolutely no way I'm asking my best friend or my best friend's mom to get me dressed. She said, let me call you back in a couple minutes. 5 minutes later, she called back and she said, I'm sorry, I can't leave. You're gonna have to find a way to do this on your own. So I had to go through a grief cycle pretty quick. You know, I had 32 seconds to be sad and maybe another 29 seconds to be really ticked off at her, and had to figure out how to do this. Now the clock's ticking, so I've got an hour window to go in to make this happen. So I went and started with my left sock and battled with this sock, trying to get this on my foot. And finally found some kind of tool. I knew that there would be some kind of tool to use to get the sock on. My dad was an engineer and always helped me think outside of the box. So I went and found some paper clips and undid the paper clips in my mouth to shape a hook. So I stuck the paper clip inside the sock and I just fought with this thing for like 30 minutes to get that first sock on. The next sock I was able to figure out in about 15 minutes and use my same paperclip system for that, and went and leaned back and stuck the paperclip inside the zipper of my pants and used that to go and zip my pants up for the first time. That whole process altogether took like an hour. Now when I get dressed on my own, it takes maybe a minute. If I'm just throwing on my socks and throwing on my pants, zipping up my pants, I don't use the same adaptation. I figured out how to do it just with the ends of my arms, and maybe it takes a minute. But where we start anything, it's really, really hard at first. But I think in order for our next generation to be a better version of ourselves, then we do have to learn how to fail. And sometimes failure is not fun, but I believe it is the only way to go outside of our comfort zone and to learn, is to be knocked down and to learn how to go and to stand back up. My name is Kyle Maynard.
I hope you felt the exact same inspiration and energy after listening to this great human being story. So, are you still having excuses? Are you still doubting yourself? Are you still doubting your limits? Or have you started seeing unlimited potential you're having in your life? If you have already recognized it, if you have got the conviction after listening to this story that you are limitless, take actions. Don't wait till your limiting beliefs to take over and conquer your mind, convincing yourself that you are not enough anymore. Take actions. Actions will prove your mind again and again that you are limitless. I wish you all the best to be able to achieve all of your goals and dreams, believing in yourself and becoming a limitless human being.